Hey everybody, this is Flash McKenna, and you're listening to Top of the Morning, presented by TopRopeReport.com.
Well, good morning to ya. Welcome to episode 10 of the Top of the Morning podcast, presented by TopRopeReport.com. I, of course, am your host, Eric Ames, back once again, and we've got another WWE pay-per-view on the horizon tonight, as SmackDown takes the center stage for one of my more looked forward to events of the year, TLC. Great card, multiple championship matches. We've got ladder match, a chairs match, a tables match, all kinds of good stuff going on tonight. And the guest for this week's episode, back for the second time, is TopRopeReport.com columnist Joshua Searles to help me preview the entire card, look at all the superstars road heading into the show tonight, and kind of talk about what might happen following the event, while also offering up our predictions as we usually do. So, thank you for tuning in. Hope everybody enjoys the show this week. Here is episode number 10 with TopRopeReport.com's Joshua Searles.
They looking scared, no, they don't really want none. We some southern boys with the farmer strength. Ain't nobody man enough to feel the pain. And you could be next, you better give respect, cause ain't nobody breaking this redneck. No, they don't want none. No, they don't want none. They don't want none. No, they don't want none.
Okay, everybody, I'm joined on the show for the second time by TopRopeReport.com columnist, and he was a results specialist, but now that Superstars is no longer on, he'll be taking a little bit of a break until some things line up. We have Joshua Searles once again. Josh, what's the haps on the craps?
Well, hello people. How's it going?
Oh, you know, I think both of us are fighting a little something right now, so we probably sound a little bit off. It's that time of year in New England. So, whether...
Yay, winter.
Yeah, yay, hooray, snow, and all that crap. Yeah, definitely not looking forward to that.
No, absolutely not.
I'll try to keep the energy up a little bit for you, Josh. I think you're fighting it a little more than I am at this point. So, of course, we always like to kick things off with a little bit of fantasy football. The regular season for our fantasy league is coming to an end this week with the games today. And, of course, if you've been listening, my season has not gone as well as I would like it to. I still don't quite understand what happened, really. However, Josh is a division-clinching team and is poised to make a run at the championship. So, Josh, what on earth did you do differently than me?
Well, for the second year in a row, I've won the Dirty Randy division. I'd like to point that out to any of my division mates listening. The competition's actually becoming a little stale, so Doug, you really need to step up your game. I'm calling you out specifically.
Yeah, because you know Doug will hear this, so...
Oh, absolutely.
Step it up, Dink.
But, I went back to traditional fantasy football. I drafted running backs back-to-back rounds 1 and 2. And you know what? It was a gamble on both of them. With Ezekiel Elliott, a rookie, drafting rookies, it's never panned out for me. And drafting Shady McCoy in the second round, somebody that's injury-prone that I really thought they were going to have to lean on. And fortunately for me, both have worked out.
Right, yeah, of course, Elliott's been a total revelation. I don't know if... I don't know if he's done better than expectations or not? Because going into it, I valued him pretty high, so I thought that was a really smart pick. Personally, I probably would have stayed away from Shady because of the injury stuff, but it's definitely worked out for you in leaps and bounds, and somehow you've managed to overcome the piss-poor play, for lack of a better term, of Blake Bortles, who was, I don't think you're starting him anymore, but you've basically started him pretty much.
No, I am starting him. Of course I'm starting. I have nobody else. Because in my infinite wisdom earlier in the season, see, it hasn't been all good, because earlier in the season I definitely released Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
To pick up some turd, probably, that I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, had I still had Mariota, things would be a little better. But you know what? This is the second year in a row I've made the money bracket, we'll call it, the winner's bracket, and I feel really confident about my chances this year.
Yeah, I think you're looking pretty good. And if I had to pick a favorite, Dave's team scares the hell out of me, man. Which, of course, I'm playing him this week, which sucks for me because I need a win to lock my position of avoiding our bottom bracket and possibly still have a shot to win a little bit of some consolation money. But it's not looking good. He had a solid start with the Vikings defense this week.
They've come out of nowhere.
He did not play Dak Prescott, which actually was looking like a pretty smart move. He had picked up Matt Stafford, which I was looking at picking up. But yeah, your team, you've had a lot of bad luck that didn't end up hurting you. Like that trade that we made, that really did not work out in your favor at all.
Well, you know, I remember we had the conversation. You said, well, the big player in this is going to be Matt Jones. And I agreed with you at that point, who has just lost his job.
Right.
And I'm looking at dumping at this point. I don't know why he's even still on my roster. But Tim Hightower was kind of just a throw-in, and he's done pretty decently for me.
Yeah, luckily that's worked out for you. Matt Jones, yeah, that just worked out horribly because I think it popped up that he was hurt like not even a couple of hours after that we made that deal, and then he didn't play, and then of course Kelly was out there, so I made the dick move of picking him up, and he's been pretty damn good ever since. And Matt Jones,
hey, it's not a dick move. You did absolutely what you should have done.
Yeah, well, thankfully it's helped me pick up a couple of wins to further my standing, make it a little bit better anyway.
Right.
But yeah, Matt Jones has been a healthy scratch ever since, so I don't even remember what were the. I think I got McKinnon out of that, and I
gave you McKinnon and Rashad Jennings, and I got Matt Jones, Tim Hightower, and I want to say Dwayne Washington. I don't know, Lions running back.
It was Jones and Washington, because I never had Hightower. I think you must have picked him up off waivers.
Yeah, I didn't get Hightower from you. Okay, yeah. Well, I really lost out on that deal then.
Yeah, and not only that, but I ended up turning Demaryius Thomas and Rashad Jennings into Odell Beckham. So, I mean, that definitely worked out for me. That trade was a little too late. I had been trying to make a deal like that all year long because my receivers, they've all been like top 20, but they've all been between like 15 and 20. So it's been a total crapshoot on which one to play every single week. So I had been looking for a player like that, and it just so happens that I just got him too late in the season. I think I got him in week 11.
You should feel fortunate you can get people to trade with you, because I throw offers out all the time and nobody will even talk to me.
It's definitely.
I offered LaShawn McCoy to pretty much every member of our league outside of Molly, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot harder to do. I think in earlier seasons, so many crazy things happened and ended up looking like what we'd like to call trade rapes. That some people get tentative, but others, they don't really see like the same perspective that you might be seeing. So anytime I'm trying to make a deal, I'll like message somebody on Facebook or whatever and try to explain what I'm thinking, because I think if you just send like a blind trade offer they just kind of look at it and they don't really see like the overall picture, because there could be more to it, like if you're thinking this guy's schedule is going to be good coming up, or you know what I mean, if that makes any sense.
No, absolutely, because I never send out any messages. I know, and there's even a little spot when you go to click the trade out, you can write a comment or something to somebody, but I never do.
Right, and
so
even
I might have to pick up on that advice for next season.
Yeah, even then, it doesn't always work. Like I said, I had been trying to get Odell Beckham pretty much all year, and then it just finally worked out just before our trade deadline, which was in week 11. So it definitely was not for lack of effort, that's for sure. But sometimes it's hard, man. People get enamored with names or their players, and I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough league. It definitely is.
Yeah, it's fun though.
It is. It is a blast. So I'm definitely looking forward.
And fortunately, most of our league mates are also WWE fans.
Right. This is
so.
True.
I don't know. Have you explained to everybody what we did for our draft? How we had the tournament on 2K16?
No, we never did talk about that. I don't know if I want to. I did so poor in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did horrible.
Well, plans didn't work out like they should have, and you get 6 people on one connection, and things get a little choppy.
Right. I had never played. So for our draft this year, what we did back in, I think it was early September, late August, something like that, we did a kind of a little bracketed tournament of WWE 2K16 on Xbox One, and I had never played with 6 people all on one console before, and honestly, I wasn't even completely convinced it was even going to work going into it. However, with that many people connected to one console, it made the game lag by a lot. I don't know. I could not...
Turns out with that many people and a few beers involved, reaction times aren't that good.
No, they are definitely not that good, and I would argue that I probably was one of the stronger players, because we even set it up so that we had, we got people that don't play video games as much or aren't as familiar, so we split everybody up evenly to make it fair, and it still didn't matter. I ended up with, I think, the 10th pick or something like that. I did piss poor, man.
Well, I'm not going to complain too bad, because I got Ezekiel Elliott out of the deal.
Yeah, it totally worked out for you, so...
And I'm forever now a fan of Heath Slater.
Yeah, alright, well, yeah, that's true. I don't even remember. I think I was the Honky Tonk Man. Good God.
You were the Honky Tonk Man.
That's right, Yeah. Oh, well. We'll come up with something fun next year. So, moving on to our main topic today, of course. Tonight, we have the next installment of SmackDown's exclusive pay-per-views with TLC, and definitely one of the gimmick events that I look forward to the most out of the year, meaning TLC, Money in the Bank, Hell in a Cell. TLC would probably be right behind Money in the Bank. SmackDown has by far been the better product to me, so that makes me look forward to TLC or their pay-per-views more than the Raw ones. I don't know how you feel about that, if you would agree. Mostly I've seen people agreeing that SmackDown's been the better product.
SmackDown has been the better product for sure, and I will say this, for the last 4 years running, I've been to the pay-per-view that's come to Boston, and they've been Survivor Series, Money in the Bank, TLC, and this year was Hell in a Cell. And TLC has been the best one by far.
Yeah, that was a great card. That was last year. Most people will remember I guess the big moment from the event would have been Kalisto hitting the Salida del Sol through a ladder onto one of the Usos, I think it was.
Slammy award-winning outstanding moment of the year, I believe.
That's true.
And if you pause your screens and look right next to the belts as he's coming over the top, you can see Christina and I.
Right. I think mostly Christina.
Yeah, mostly. All right. Yes, mostly Christina. You're right.
Yeah, your face was like behind one of the titles, I believe.
It is behind one of the title belts. If it spins just right, you can catch me. I try to point it out to people, but they just kind of wave me off.
All right. Well, on to this year's event. Of course, we talked before we got on the air that we don't know what the kickoff match will be, so we'll be skipping that. Of course, we expect that there will be one. I kind of speculated possibly a tag match, but really we don't have any clue, to be honest. So just kind of going in order of importance, in my opinion, as always, we're going to start the event off and our preview off with a chairs match, which is pitting Kalisto versus Baron Corbin in a feud that was originally supposed to happen heading into SummerSlam, but of course Kalisto ended up getting injured. I believe that was a back injury, and then that all got pushed off. So
it feels like that caused this feud some momentum, huh?
Yeah, it definitely did. Personally, I'm not a big Kalisto fan. He's kind of like, I don't know, he seems to me almost like a Rey Mysterio clone, but like not nearly as charismatic. I definitely see bigger things in the future for Baron Corbin, and I think that WWE is of that same opinion. So, I don't know. To me, Kalisto should have ended up probably in the Cruiserweight division. He just, I don't know, he doesn't...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he doesn't do that much for me. I think we talked before...
there's no personality. Like you said, he's a generic luchador. I mean, yeah, he's got an amazing moveset. I'm not going to take anything away from that man athletically or in-ring wise. But he's given me, other than that, he's given me nothing to connect to his character.
Right, and he's not really strong on promo. I mean, he had one, I don't recall when it was, but there was one pretty now infamous promo botch by Kalisto. I think it was on like a pre-show or something. I don't remember when. It was in the last few months anyways.
He couldn't have been that infamous if we can't remember it.
Yeah, but I think that we spoke about this on the last episode that you did, which I can't remember if that was No Mercy preview or not now. It might have been.
Clash of Champions, I believe.
Yeah. But I think Kalisto, he was so much better off with Sin Cara.
It was ridiculous. I don't know why they split them up. They were both better off.
Yeah, the split doesn't make any sense to me at all right now. Like, after the draft, I could kind of conceive Kalisto possibly becoming like a strong mid-carder for SmackDown, but the injury definitely derailed any momentum that he had, which I don't even think he had that much to begin with. So to me, this match is... I'm leaning heavily towards Baron Corbin. I mean, it's totally possible that Kalisto pulls up with a underdog upset, but I feel like this is something we're going to see end with Corbin just completely bludgeoning Kalisto with a chair.
To the point where I'm pretty sure they're going to have to send people out to stop the match, and that's what they're going to do with Corbin to try to get that over to us, that he is that much of an imposing force, and he's willing to go to any length to prove his point. Absolutely.
Yes, I agree 100%. I see this ending in like a referee stoppage, having to step in. You know, I don't think this is going to be a pinfall.
And can I say this? If they go the other way and they choose to go the Kalisto route with the win, what does that do for Baron Corbin? You're going to kill all his momentum. Everything you're doing with this star to build him as a serious heel threat, main event wise, you're going to destroy all that momentum. So it makes no sense.
Definitely, yeah. Corbin is much closer to being a main event talent than Kalisto is, and at this point, I don't want to mess with that.
No, they'd be foolish too. And I'd like to think that they do recognize that. And you know Vince, he loves his big guys.
Exactly, yeah. While, I'm not a huge fan of his in-ring work, but I've kind of come around on, I guess, like the whole aura of him and the character. Like, I really dig the character because it really is him turned up, to 100, basically.
You watch the intros and you watch his promos and you look at his character. You can see a lot of influence of Triple H there.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess the last question I have regarding, well, not necessarily this match, but regarding Baron Corbin is, what's the over-under on how long it will be before we start seeing him ride a motorcycle for his entrance?
That depends on their WWE's insurance rights right at the moment, and whether they're willing to risk him riding that thing out through the audience accidentally.
I mean, if Chuck Palumbo did it after The Undertaker did it, then why not Baron Corbin, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Chuck Palumbo, there's a name.
How many people remember Chuck Palumbo doing that?
And you say that name, and I don't think of them riding a motorcycle down to the ring. I think of Chuck and Billy.
Right, yeah, exactly. Billy and Chuck.
Yeah.
All right. So next up on my docket, I have one of the women's matches, a no disqualification match between Nikki Bella and Carmella. I'll let you kick this one off.
This is a hard one for me because I can see this one going either way. I like both these women. Carmella, I didn't really see the sense of splitting her from Enzo and Cass initially. I figured that she'd be drafted to Raw when the draft happened, along with them, but it's perfectly clear now because she's such a good heel, and she didn't start out that way, but she's been able to develop this pretty much since the draft. And with these ruthless behind-the-scenes attacks on Nikki and showing her that, Nikki, your time's over. It's my time now. I really like Carmella. But Nikki herself, great in-ring talent, amazing to look at. Sorry, sweetie, Christina, but she knows how I feel about Nikki. But I don't know. I think Carmella's going to take this one because I think Nikki will put her over.
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of with you. I could see that happening. I'm not really overly confident either way on this one.
No, this is definitely my hardest split of the night.
Yeah, Nikki is easily better in the ring than Carmella. Carmella, I mean, she's only been wrestling for 3 years, so she's still got a long way to go. But her character development since turning heel has been phenomenal. So that's kind of turning me around on her. I still think the entrance music needs a tweak, and I'll keep beating that drum to death.
Now, how is it with your TV when you're watching? Because from what it seems like to us, she doesn't get much of a pop when she comes out. Is that the music drowning it out, or is she just not getting a pop?
I just don't think she's getting a pop. I really don't, because it was like that when she was a babyface before. I mean, I definitely am. I don't want to call it a pop because that kind of makes me think babyface. But I'm definitely hearing boos for her, but it's not like a rousing ovation or anything like that.
No, there's no real hatred. There's no real love either way. So
yeah, I'm gonna go with Nikki on this one, just because I think that this is gonna finally be the blow off to this, and I could see Nikki moving on. I guess this might get into a later prediction, but I could see Nikki moving on to get some title matches here. So I think that might be the route, because if you're trying to
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, if you're trying to
establish, but I think we're taking two different roads here.
Yeah, I think if you're trying to establish the women's title, having arguably the most popular, I almost said diva, female superstar out of the whole company challenge for it is a great way to go. So I'm gonna go with Nikki on this one.
Yeah, like I said, it's my biggest toss-up of the night.
Yeah, I do think that you're right, though. I think that we are taking the same path but separate trails. I don't know how you would call it.
Exactly. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say about Becky and Alexa later on.
Yeah. All right, we'll definitely get to that one, of course. So, but next up, we have our tag match of the evening for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. The champions, the surprising champions, Heath Slater and Rhino, taking on Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. This one, I'm not really torn on who's going to win, but I'm torn on whether or not the titles actually change hands. So obviously, I'm going to go with Bray and Orton, because I feel like Slater and Rhino, is it just me, or has it been a while since we've seen them wrestle on TV?
I think that was largely in part due to Rhino's schedule running for political office.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's been a while.
To me, it kind of seems like I mean, I know they were at Survivor Series and they were still getting, chants and stuff like that, but I don't know. To me personally, I feel like they've kind of lost their importance, and like or not importance, but like where do you go with them from there? Like, I don't know. I think that they've kind of
run their course, essentially, you think?
Yeah, extended their run like way longer than it was originally meant to be, and it was great. But I just feel like everything has really been done with them at this point. I could be wrong. But Orton and Wyatt just have so much momentum. Not quite as much as, like, we were talking about Corbin earlier, but I find it hard to believe that they lose to Slater and Rhino, especially when it's pretty much guaranteed that Harper is going to get involved.
Oh, for sure. So you're thinking that maybe a DQ some way, and it won't change hands?
Yeah, that's the part that I'm torn on, because I can't decide whether it's going to be a DQ or whether it's going to be an actual pinfall. So I guess if you're going to go with a put a gun to my head, I think I'm going to go with an actual title change here.
I'm going to agree with you with the title change, and of course Orton and Bray win it. But I got a couple questions for you. First off, why is Randy Orton in the Wyatt family? And secondly, why are they now a tag team vying for the tag titles when they've really done nothing to establish themselves whatsoever in the division?
Yeah, not so much in the division. I think, personally, I like seeing them get included, and I think that, they're together because obviously Orton is going to turn on Bray at some point. I kind of thought that it was going to happen at Survivor Series, but I'm totally fine with it the way that it is because I think it's still working. So I think that's obviously the end game here is eventually Orton's just going to RKO him out of nowhere, cliche, and that will be kind of, not the finish of it, but that will go back into another program between the two of them. I kind of like the inclusion of them in the tag division because I just don't really feel like Slater and Rhino are like, I look at Wyatt and Orton more as like a top of the heap team rather than Slater and Rhino. I don't know.
But what's doing that for you? The caliber of wrestlers that those two are in their singles competition?
Yeah, definitely. It's
not really and I think that's my biggest problem when I see them cut promos is I see Bray with Randy and Harper behind him, and Randy outshines Bray. He's a bigger star, but yet he's been cast into this secondary role, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And I see where you're coming from with perhaps the role reversal later on where he'll turn on Bray, but that's the only way I can see this storyline making any sense.
Yeah, I mean, if Orton doesn't eventually turn on Bray, then it doesn't make any sense at all. You're absolutely right. I kind of like the fact that Orton is, taking a little bit of a step back, because it's allowing, another lane for somebody else to try and step up, which, it hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it will. But it keeps Orton fresh, too. He seemed really reinvigorated when he came back from injury. And I think this is a way to kind of like, keep him doing something new and something different and not get back into like a routine again where, if he was a few years ago when he was a babyface, it was just kind of the same thing over and over and over again. And I definitely think that there's something to the, I guess, tensions between him and Harper that we've been seeing, because there's been a lot of that. So I think that we're kind of seeing the seeds of dissension in, I guess, the Wyatt family, if they're calling it that still, for later on down the line. But it definitely has gone longer than I expected it to. I'll 100% agree with you on that.
I don't know. I think I'd like to see the turn to happen sooner than later. Yeah, maybe Royal Rumble? That's an idea.
Yeah, wouldn't shock me.
I feel like putting those belts on them tonight would be the best thing for the belts themselves, because where it's a made-up title to begin with, it doesn't have that much gravitas behind it, and putting it on main event caliber types like Orton and Wyatt will definitely elevate that title. Well, those titles, rather.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And it's not, I don't mean to, like, crap on Slater and Rhino, because they did a magnificent job and did way more than anybody ever expected of them to do. I just feel like it's time to move on. When was the last time they even defended those titles? It had to be like a month ago.
Yeah, if not longer.
Right. So I just think Orton and Wyatt, they can do more with it. They'll have more interesting storylines just because of the kind of the characters that they are. How much further can you really go with the I Got Kids thing? As funny as it is, I just think it was just a short-term solution, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they never even were intended to win that tournament, and it just, they got so over that WWE just rode that.
Yep. Yeah, I think it has run its course for sure.
All right.
But Slater himself is such a good talent behind the mic and in the ring. He'll figure something out.
Yeah, I would love to see Heath move into that mid-card that really could use some help. I would love to see Heath become, an IC contender. I think that's...
Oh, there we go. That's what I was about to go with, Eric. Yes.
I think that's 100%, within his reach. And, for Christ's sakes, if they can put James Ellsworth into a main event, give him a world title match, why not Heath Slater, Heath Slater could do it too.
I'm not going to go into the James Ellsworth thing right now, but that yeah. Well, we'll deal with that when we get to the Dean Ambrose match.
Yeah, I'm over it as well. I think that's where you're going. But we'll move on to the next match on the card, and this is again, if you look at all of these, aside from the tag match and the chairs match, these are all long-running feuds. This match, no different, and it is a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship, pitting the, again, champion, The Miz, up against Dolph Ziggler. And, again, I'll let you take the floor on this one.
I'm over this. I'm over Dolph Ziggler. He bores me beyond belief at this point. And I was a Ziggler addict back in the day. A few years ago, I loved that man. But the gimmick hasn't changed. It's become stale. We've seen The Miz win time in and time out, time in and time out. And it's always by dubious means, so I'm not expecting anything different tonight. And if Ziggler does win, I'm not sure I'm going to be that ecstatic about it. Yeah. Because I think his character itself could use a real overhaul, maybe a heel turn. Because I think he was a much better guy when he was a heel. Much better, not talent, but much better, more engaging, more intriguing when he was a heel.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. I, too, am also kind of over this. The constant switching of the title, I don't like that with the Intercontinental title. I don't like it with any title. And it didn't really make that much... even though I predicted it, it didn't make that much sense to me to have The Miz win it back that quickly. I thought that they probably could have did a little bit more with it in the future, like in terms of fresh storylines with Ziggler as the champion, and then have Miz move on to something else, maybe have him get involved with the world title picture, and, not just a one-on-one with AJ, but you could keep Dean in there too, and that would reinvigorate that storyline. But I don't know. I don't see Ziggler winning this back. I think that I think The Miz is what was he calling it? We'll call this his second Intercontinental title world tour. I think that continues on, and like we were talking about in the last match, I think a great contender next up would be someone like Heath Slater.
And I think a reason like that is why I don't see Miz dropping this, because the amount of mid-card talent that is the heel-to-face ratio, there's significantly more faces than there are heels in the mid-card right now.
Right, yeah.
And
they could go with people like Kalisto, or Apollo Crews has completely fallen off the planet.
Oh, dude, right off the radar.
But there would have been, I think, some solid options with Ziggler as the champion as well. I know we've already seen him have a feud with Corbin, but with the title on the line, that would have interested me a little bit more in that. Because it actually
and plus, I could notch Corbin right to that tier just beneath the world title.
Yeah,
seems to climb the ladder for him.
Right, and plus with the title on the line, it would have actually meant something this time. So, but then you've also got people that really haven't been utilized that greatly. Like, we had all this build up for a Kurt Hawkins debut, and he hasn't done anything at all. So I think that would have been interesting. Possibly take one of your tag teams, because SmackDown is so deep on that side, and like a Breezango, and have, one of them challenge Dolph for the title with the other one helping out at ringside. So I think that there definitely were some good options either way. But just because The Miz just won it back, I don't see Dolph taking it again.
No, for some reason it feels like the company just doesn't have any faith in Dolph Ziggler.
They absolutely don't. You're 1,000% right on that. He had his big moment where he cashed in his Money in the Bank. 4 years ago, however long ago it was now, on Del Rio.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the loudest ovations I've ever heard while watching. I wasn't there, but
as a heel.
As a heel. And then he took an errant kick to the head from Swagger and got concussed, and the company, soured on him as a top player at that point. Which is...
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't matter how hard the fans get behind a superstar. If the company doesn't feel comfortable pushing him, they won't.
Yeah, it really is unfortunate, and I agree with you, or I'm on the same page as you, as I was, and I'm definitely not as big as I was before, but I was a huge Ziggler fan, and I still think that he really is this era's Shawn Michaels, but he just has never gotten the company fully behind him. But at this point, The Miz has so much heat as a heel,
Oh yeah, he's a significantly better heel than Ziggler is a face.
Yeah, he's really doing so much for that title. I don't know. I didn't really want him to lose it the first time, even though I picked against him, because I just didn't think Ziggler was done yet.
Well, and ever since they've added Maurice back with him too, that elevated me further. It adds that whole new layer to the snobby, look at me, I've got everything. I've got the looks, I've got the belt, I've got the beautiful wife, I've got the beautiful home that you see on Total Divas, and what does Ziggler have? You haven't seen anything.
Exactly.
So all these things just lead me more and more into saying The Miz is going to win this.
Yeah, Ziggler needs something like Kevin Nash had suggested being his Diesel. He needs something like that. Not necessarily that specifically, which I would be totally cool with. I think that would work. But he needs...
Well, when he had the initial world title run, Eric, he had AJ Lee and Big E, wasn't it?
He did, yep. Big E Langston. We're supposed to forget that he has a last name.
Yes.
But yeah, Miz, I'm so...
Same thing we're supposed to forget Rusev as a first name, right?
Right, Cesaro too, all them guys.
Yes.
But yeah, Miz, he's just got so much going for him. I'm becoming more and more a fan of his, and he really has become a main player on SmackDown as that IC champion. And not only that, but he's done something that no other WWE superstars really ever seem to do that often. But he's switched up his offense, and I'm such a fan of that. Mocking Daniel Bryan with the kicks and the running drop kicks in the corner. I love all of that. So,
which just adds more and more to that heel persona. And when his career is over, he's going to go down as one of the best heels in WWE history.
I definitely would agree with that. He has been one of the more underappreciated superstars in the company for a long time. I think that really started happening when they turned him babyface, which was the worst decision they ever made with him. Because the Miz is not a babyface. Honestly, people, let's be real.
No, it would be like turning John Cena heel. What are you doing?
Right, exactly. Which I still hope happens someday.
Maybe towards the end of the career, but they make way too much money off him from the kids.
Yeah, I don't know. I could offer up a little bold prediction a little later on here. I'll touch on that once we get
Okay.
a little later on in the card here, which will be coming up soon because
I'm intrigued.
only two more left. So the next to last that I've got down is the tables match for the SmackDown Women's Championship, with the champion in, I believe, only her second title defense, Becky Lynch, going up against the number one contender, Alexa Bliss. And like we talked about earlier with Nikki and Carmella, I think you kind of figured out where I was going on this one, which to
You're
me,
going with Alexa.
yeah, to me this one is a massive toss-up. However, I'm gonna go out on a limb and pick Alexa. Similarly to Carmella, she's not as good as her opponent is inside the ring, but man, has the character development with Alexa been phenomenal, to say the least.
Rude.
So I'm definitely I'm kind of hoping Alexa wins, to be honest with you.
I got to agree completely with the character development. Watching her on screen is probably some of my most favorite moments on SmackDown. Watching her talk to the backstage announcers and the commentators is hilarious. The way she deals with Renee Young. Okay, sweetie, we can take it from here. Bye-bye.
Plus, having her on the screen is never a bad thing anyway. I mean, come on.
No, absolutely not.
We are guys, after all.
I think Alexa is probably the best heel they have on SmackDown right now. She's got her character nailed. She's got tremendous in-ring talent. I think she's got a little ways to go. She's not top tier yet. But I think she definitely could carry that title. I don't think she's going to win it tonight. I think Becky's going to. Mainly because of the reason I stated earlier, with Carmella beating Nikki and having her go on to take on Becky.
Right. Yeah, we're basically thinking the same thing with just opposite people. Like, I picked Nikki because I think with Alexa as champion, because I knew that was going to be my pick, I think Nikki would be a great first challenger for her, which, of course, if Alexa wins, then Becky will get her rematch. But after that, the next logical opponent would be Nikki, and what better way to establish I guess she's not a new superstar anymore, but you know what I mean, a new character, an up-and-comer, I guess, and then kind of swap out Becky. Becky maybe can go on to face Carmella or some kind of program there, but yeah, we're basically both thinking the same thing, but with just opposite people.
No, and if it does go the way that you're thinking, I'd be perfectly fine with that. I wouldn't be crabby about that whatsoever. Like I stated, Alexa's a great talent, and I love seeing her on screen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it either way. I have no issues with Becky Lynch. I mean, she doesn't really, I wouldn't say she wows me necessarily, but of course she's a great in-ring talent. She's a tremendous technician. I can't take anything away from her, that's for sure. But this one definitely was the hardest one to pick for me. So I don't know. It'll definitely be interesting to see what happens because Becky went through the table on SmackDown. So does that mean she gets her revenge and puts Alexa through the table on Sunday or tonight? I mean,
Bex through the table in the corner.
Hopefully it will at least be a little more dramatic of a finish than Hell in a Cell, where Sasha did not break the table.
Dude, I was in the audience for that. It was so confusing. Like, nobody knew what was going on. Yeah. And then she gets the 3 off natural selection, and what?
Yeah,
the crowd was very stunned.
That little frame of Sasha just couldn't break that table, so they had to throw an audible.
Well, I mean, and it's not like Becky or Alexa are large women. Come on now. Neither of them are going to go through very easily.
Especially Alexa. I mean, she's 5'0", if that.
No, she's a peanut.
So, all right. So, last up on the docket is the main event of the evening.
Oh, one sec. I'd just like to add in, do you know what's going to happen to me if I had picked against Becky? All right? It wouldn't have been good when Christina got home. She can't listen to this and have me picking against Becky.
Well, I mean, if your balls are already in her purse, how can they be in there again?
Good point. Good point. See, I didn't think that through.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I have been single for years.
All right, well, sorry to have interrupted you. On with the main event, sir.
All right, our main event, of course, combines all the elements of the name of the event, which is tables, ladders, and chairs match for the WWE World Championship. Of course, the champion, the phenomenal AJ Styles, taking on the challenge of the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose. And I'll let you take the floor again.
All right. So here's how I see this playing out. It's going to be a great match. I mean, you know that Ambrose and Styles are both going to put everything on the line. They're going to use all of the toys that they can. They're going to go all over the ring, possibly out in the audience. But in the end, James Ellsworth going to get involved. He's going to try and help Dean Ambrose. He's going to cost Dean Ambrose somehow. AJ Styles will capitalize on it and pick up the win. Ambrose is going to snap and devastate James Ellsworth. Because I think with the errors that Ellsworth has cost him in the past and the opportunities he's cost Ambrose, I think Ambrose's quote-unquote lunatic personality is going to really come out.
You know, if I would have went first, I think I could have just let you speak for me. Because that's...
Really?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think that Ellsworth is absolutely going to get involved, cost Ambrose the match somehow. Of course, I don't know if Dean's going to lose it. I mean, I could definitely see that that's a possibility. I think what will happen is he might kind of play it cool a little bit like he did before, and then when Ellsworth gets his title match, Ambrose will cost him the championship, basically. And that's how he'll kind of get his revenge, I guess. I see absolutely zero chance that Ambrose wins this because I don't know if you've been following the rumors or not, but it looks like The Undertaker is going to be possibly getting a title match against Styles at Royal Rumble, which will lead me into my bold prediction that I talked about earlier. I think that John Cena gets involved in that Rumble match, costs Undertaker the win, and then that leads into the long-awaited Cena-Undertaker match at WrestleMania. The heel part, I'm not so sure about. However, if Cena's going up against The Undertaker, there is like a 1% of the audience that might cheer for Cena in that circumstance.
No, nobody's going to cheer against The Undertaker. That doesn't happen.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking, but I can't see any shot that Ambrose wins the title. I just don't see it at all.
No, not at all. No, and while we're on these two, I'm so over James Ellsworth. I think it's a joke that he's getting a title shot. I understand the man's been competing for years on the indie circuit, and he's done a lot of wrestling, but he's not a WWE superstar.
Yeah,
he's just not.
I'm with you. I've pretty much had enough of it. I think it's stopped being funny at least a couple of weeks ago, maybe even longer. And,
he's Gilbert. He's David Arquette. He's just a joke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that the guy's worked hard, and I get the whole dream scenario. It's supposed to be inspiring. But unless you're gonna put this guy in the cruiserweight division or something, what the hell are you gonna do with him when this is over? I just don't understand it at all when you have so much talent on your roster that's not being utilized at all. Guys
Apollo Crews, like you stated earlier.
Guys like Crews or anybody else that they had. So yeah, he's definitely run his course with me, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with for him after this is all over. Not just with Styles, but with Ambrose as well. Because I don't know, man. I don't buy him. I mean, I don't know how anybody else can.
No, and they've done the underdog story before with Daniel Bryan, and like with Bryan, it works great because he's a tremendous talent. He's got the look, he's got the physique of a small guy. I mean, Ellsworth just looks like a sickly man that doesn't belong there.
Right, and not only that, but Bryan was arguably the best wrestler on the planet. And Ellsworth, I mean, he might be skilled, but nowhere near the skills of at least half of the roster. At least. And that is like throwing them a fastball down the middle of the plate saying that.
Yeah, Ellsworth would be down towards the bottom of the roster, talent-wise. Send him down to NXT. Maybe they can do something with him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let Samoa Joe play with him.
Yeah.
That would be entertaining.
Yeah, I would be okay with that. I definitely would be okay with that. Well, all right, Josh. Yeah, it's only a 6-match card, so a little bit of a short show. Kind of, not really. We're approaching an hour, so...
Just so we're clear on things, you are predicting the Undertaker to show up tonight?
No.
Or Cena?
No, I don't think he gets involved tonight.
You don't think either tonight? Okay, all right. No. I got confused.
No, that would be cool, and I'd be for it. But I mean, a lot of people were saying that about Survivor Series 2, and it didn't happen, obviously. So yeah, I don't think that it will happen until after the beginning of 2017, and they'll kind of build the title match program if that's what they end up doing, which I think they're going to from there. So
what about the possibility? All right. That you do build the feud between Taker and Styles initially. Have Taker take the title from Styles at Rumble, and then have Cena win it at WrestleMania, giving him that ultimate 16th world title to become number one. No? Too bold? Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. That's a hard proposition for me because I'm so against Cena tying that record because pardon my language, but I think Cena doing it is total bullshit, to be honest with you, because he's been all with one company that had multiple world titles under their banner, when Flair did it across a couple of different companies. I don't know. Even if he does end up tying it...
in multiple territories.
Yeah, it will never equal what Flair did, ever. Not in my opinion, anyway. I'm sure, and I think you're in the majority with that also. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of younger fans would disagree, but no. I don't want to see it happen, even though Flair said that he would be okay with it. However, I definitely think that it will happen eventually, so I might as well bite the bullet, I guess.
Well, Cena's not an old man. I feel like it's an inevitability.
Yeah, it probably is. I think you're right on that. All right, Josh. So we'll go ahead and get you out of here. I know we have a new edition of Mixed Tag Mayhem coming up next week, and I know I believe that Christina is picking the topic. So are you kind of in the dark on that one?
I'm still in the dark.
Still in the dark? All right. Well,
still in the dark. I know what mine's going to be on 2 weeks from now.
All right. Well, why don't you go ahead and give us a couple weeks ahead preview, and we'll tell everybody to check out the next edition coming up on Tuesday as well.
Well, my next topic's actually going to be on wrestlers like James Ellsworth. It's funny that we mentioned him. Well, not funny, but yeah, and the uncanny draw that people seem to have to competitors like that, and why it seems to be. Because I know Christina and I definitely have differing opinions on it. I feel like she may be starting to veer towards my way of thinking on it, but she loves a good underdog story. So,
well, we'll definitely be looking forward to that. Hopefully things don't get too heated in the household over that one for you.
No, they never do.
All right.
We can fight about all kinds of other stuff, just not wrestling.
All right. Well, that's always a plus. So,
yes,
all right. Definitely want people to check that out. Mixed Tag Mayhem coming out on Tuesday, and of course you can follow Josh on Twitter at SwirlyJ22. That's SWIRLY 22. And we definitely will have you on again in the future, Josh. Thank you so much for taking some time out today.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you having me, and I'm looking forward to the event tonight.
All right, everybody. That was the TLC preview and prediction show with Joshua Searles. Hope you all enjoyed it. Definitely looking forward to the event tonight. A couple of quick things before we head on out of here. If you have not checked out the TopRopeReport.com shop, definitely make your way over there. We have the very best and freshest gear in the pro wrestling news website game. So hashtag get on top at the TopRopeReport.com TRR shop. That's TopRopeReport.com/TRR shop/. Also, keep following TopRopeReport.com for all the latest and greatest news from the world of professional wrestling. The most reliable news from the most reliable sources anywhere on the web. We give you very minimal filler, so only the important stuff that you really need to know, that all wrestling fans want to know. So definitely make sure you check that out. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at TRR Wrestling, and TopRopeReport.com is also on Facebook at TopRopeReport.com, no dot, and Instagram at TopRopeReport.com, no dot. And then if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, I'm on there at TRR_EAmes. That's EAMES. So until next time, my friends, hope everyone's enjoying the holiday season. I'll be hoping to be feeling a little bit better next time and not sound so raspy. I sound so raspy this week. I don't know why I turned southern all of a sudden because of my raspy voice. Alright, making myself laugh. That's what Dayquil will do to you, folks. So, we will catch you next week, which we have another great interview coming up with a Cruiserweight Classic competitor. Who could it be? Who? Well, I guess you'll just have to tune in next week and find out. So, until that happens, don't forget, it's not how hard you get knocked down, but it's whether or not you can kick out.